Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you from the Emirates just a few minutes after Arsenal have beaten Leeds 4-1 to restore that 8-point advantage at the top of the Premier League. Manchester City sort of laid down the gauntlet at the start of today with that 4-1 win against Liverpool. City was seriously good in that game, they really were. Jack Grealish, fantastic. Arsenal players would have watched that, or they would have watched some of it. Anyway, Mikel Arteta said before the game he was going to let the players watch some of it. And they would certainly have been impressed by what they saw. They must have been, because that was a very good City performance. But they responded with their own 4-1 win and restored their 8-point advantage at the top of the Premier League. So really good day. They weren't great. This was not a good Arsenal performance. It wasn't a vintage performance by any means. They've played a hell of a lot better this season. They're going to have to play a hell of a lot better at Anfield next weekend as well. Liverpool were really poor, I thought, today against Manchester City. So open. City could have beaten them by far more than 4-1. But you know that Liverpool aren't going to be like that next weekend at Anfield. They're going to be an awful lot better. They're awful away. They have been all season. I think they've only won 3 Premier League games all season away from home. But at Anfield, they're still very strong. We've seen what they've done to Man United. Not too long ago. So Arsenal are going to have to be a lot better than they were today, because it was a pretty sluggish performance on the whole here. Especially in the first half. They were better in the second half, no doubt about it, but in the first half they weren't great. I thought Leeds were the better side up until Arsenal scored, which came from the penalty spot. Gabriel Jesus, really big moment for him, his first goal for Arsenal since the win against Tottenham on October 1st, scoring from the penalty spot. Jesus won the penalty himself, Luke Ayling tripping him. Which was nice of the former Arsenal man to give away that penalty, because at that point Arsenal hadn't really looked like threatening Leeds, and you couldn't really see where their goal was going to come from. But once they got in front, they settled down. I thought that from that point almost to half time, that was their best period of the first half by quite some distance. They almost made it 2-0. Martinelli sort of hooking one from about 40 yards. Melio was out of goal, but Ayling managed to just about get back and clear it, almost a comical own goal, but you just about managed to scramble it away. So it was 1-0 at half time. Kind of knew Arsenal were going to have to perform better in the second half. You knew Arteta would have been telling them that in the change room at half time, because he can't have been happy with that first half performance. It wasn't great, and they were much better in the second half. They got off to a perfect start. Ben White scored, made it 2-0 within a couple of minutes of the second half starting. Really good play by Gabriel Martinelli to set it up, and White again, just like at Bournemouth, arriving at the back post to stick it away. This time didn't need goal line technology, went in off the underside of the bar, so he actually got his chance to celebrate it properly, unlike against Bournemouth. It's a good moment for him. Just before the game, during the warm-ups, Ben White went off about sort of 5 minutes before everyone else, got sort of spotted going down the tunnel with a doctor, and everyone got a little bit scared, given there was no Saka because he was ill. Well, Saka was on the bench because he was ill, and given obviously no Saliba. When you see Ben White going down the bench, everyone was it sort of created a bit of nervousness before the game, but he was fine. He came out, and yeah, like I said, he got his goal with a nice finish, good run at the back post to finish off some really good play by Gabriel Martinelli. That made it 2-0. Then Jesus made it 3 with his second of the game, and this was a big moment. You could see the relief on his face when he scored the penalty, but to score this one from open play, you could see what it meant to him and how much more it meant to him than the penalty. He was really felt that. You could see in his celebrations. Again, another Trossard assist. Brilliant from Trossard in the build-up to that goal. Lovely from Jesus, actually. He started the move, played it into Trossard, carried his run in. Trossard, lovely close control in the penalty area, fizz the ball in, and a nice finish on the sort of first time on the slide from Jesus to make it 3-0. And it was really nice. And kind of similar to the Crystal Palace game then, Arsenal eased off a little bit and Leeds got one back. Another game where they haven't been able to hold on for a clean sheet, which would disappoint Ramsdale. It was a bit unlucky. It was a deflected shot off Zinchenko. That made it 3-1, and you thought, oh no, here we go, don't let anything back. And to credit Arsenal, just like they did against Crystal Palace, they restored their 3-goal advantage to make it 4-1 and sort of shut out any fear of a comeback from Leeds. And Granit Xhaka again, 4 goals in 4 games for Granit Xhaka now for club and country. He's found his scoring touch again just at the right time, which is really good for Arsenal. It was a lovely header as well. Odegaard with assist, dug out across. Xhaka, nice run into the box late on, and a good header into the top corner to make it 4-1. Just looking at some of the players now have come out to do their warm down, some of the substitutes. Mikel Arteta used all 5 of his subs actually sort of late on. Smith Rowe, Tierney, Saka came on, Jorginho, and someone else who I'm forgetting right now. I'm sure you'll all remind me in the comments. But yeah, used all his subs. I thought the subs were timed well. And yeah, a really good win for Arsenal. Like I said, after City laid down the gauntlet, they needed to respond here today. Everyone was looking at them, wondering if they might feel the pressure a little bit after what City did. But to match their scoreline you can't really ask for much more than that. So a really good day for Arsenal, and it's back to 8 points, for 8-point lead at the top of the table. Okay, player ratings time. Let's see if you guys agree with me on this one. I'm going to start with Aaron Ramsdale, of course, who, he'll be annoyed at not keeping a clean sheet again, just like against Crystal Palace. Arsenal just a little bit slack. It wasn't from a set piece this time, it was from a move down the left and a shot that was deflected in off him. A bit unlucky with the deflection, but he'll be disappointed. He made a couple of good saves. He made a save after 7 seconds, actually. It was virtually a carbon copy of what happened against Bournemouth. Straight from the kick-off, Leeds pumped it downfield, ball dropped to him, had a shot, and Ramsdale had to save it after 7 seconds. So he made a couple of good saves, actually, Ramsdale. So I gave him a 7. Ben White, he gets a 7 for me as well. Good performance from him. I mean, the ratings aren't going to be great here because this was a pretty average performance on the whole, I thought, from Arsenal. So there's going to be a lot of 7s in this, or 6s, so apologies for that. But Ben White, I thought, got a 7. Obviously, really good run, good finish for him to get the goal. He gets a 7. Holding, I thought, played well, again, just as he did against Crystal Palace. Arsenal haven't really missed the lever so far, which is good. And Holding's doing exactly what it would have been asked for him from Mikel Arteta, so he gets a 7. Gabriel, I thought, played on the front foot, which was decent. In the first half, when Arsenal were pretty poor, I thought Gabriel was one of the better performers. He was playing on the front foot, he was trying to get the team going forward with a bit of urgency, which they needed. So he gets a 7. Zinchenko was very quiet, I thought. It wasn't a great game for Zinchenko, he just couldn't really get involved. Didn't really have much of an influence on things, so Zinchenko gets a 6. In midfield, Thomas Partey, I don't know if he was a little bit tired from what happened with Ghana and all that, but it wasn't bad or anything, but it wasn't one of his better games, so he gets a 6. He went off after 60 minutes with Jorginho coming on. Granit Xhaka, 7 for him. Played some really nice little balls through, I thought, some good first-time balls through, which got Arsenal, sort of broke the lines a little bit, got Arsenal moving, popped up with his goal, lovely run, lovely header, so he gets a 7. Martin Odegaard, it was a quiet game from Odegaard, especially in the first half. He just couldn't get into the game at all. Improved after the break, like most of the Arsenal players did, and got the assist for Xhaka. So I gave Odegaard a 7 in the end because of that assist. Just sneaked above a 6 for me for that one. And then the forward line, Gabriel Jesus, man of the match for me, has to be, got 8. I've given him an 8, 2 goals. Bright performance, lovely second goal. And won the penalty as well, scored it, so he gets an 8 from me. And then Trossard, I gave a 7 to, lovely assist for Jesus' second goal, and just lively, made sure Arsenal didn't really miss Bukayo Saka from the start, which was good. It's what you want from Trossard. No, it's 7 assists for Trossard now. What a fabulous signing he's been. Really, really good. So he gets a 7. I gave Martinelli a 7 as well. He was bright, lively, tried to make things happen. Brilliant assist for Ben White's goal from Gabriel Martinelli. Didn't get on the score sheet himself, but it was still a good, lively performance from him. And the substitutes, I'm not really going to rate any of them, to be honest. A couple of them came on for sort of half an hour. Jorginho came on. And Saka came on for the last half an hour. Saka just couldn't really get in the game. I'm not sure. At the time, Arsenal were 3-0 up, and I thought, why are you bringing Saka on? Just let him have a complete rest. But Mikel brought him on, and he didn't really have too much of an impact. So if I'm going to give Saka a rating and Jorginho a rating, I'll give them 5 each because they didn't really do too much. Jorginho was neat and tidy as you'd expect. And then the rest of them all came on right at the end, which was sort of Tierney, Smith Rowe and Vieira. And I didn't really have any time to make much of an impact, so I'm not going to give those guys a rating at all. But that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. Everyone enjoy the rest of your weekend. Arsenal 8 points clear again at the top of the Premier League. 9 games to go. Speak to you soon.